Yesterday and today, Mercury has been on Venus in Aquarius. Why does this matter? We've had everything cross over Pluto. Everything kind of came to a head emotionally. And then Mercury, which is how you think and communicate, was with Venus, which is love and money, yesterday and today. Today is January 29th. By the way, it's Thursday. So what we have seen, and I've seen some of you guys do this too, Venus is love and money, a little bit of beauty too. So for everyone, it's going to be different. But Mercury is how you think and communicate, which means conversations about, or at least trying to make things better in love or friendships or in a family dynamic. Okay, that would be Venus with Mercury, communicating about love or communicating your heart or becoming more vulnerable in some way. For some people, it's not relationships. For some people, it has come out and will probably still be coming out today about business. So it would be like you have a new business idea, or you've been thinking, I really want to make some more money. How can I do that? Okay, I should hire more people. And maybe you're putting out an announcement about that hiring. Or for instance, I got my website up and running yesterday and today, valkyrietarot.org. You can book a reading there. These are the kind of things that we're seeing. If this is happening in your life or you're seeing it around you, you're in alignment. So kudos to you. Congratulations. You're doing well. And you're right where you're supposed to be. We will be moving towards this Leo full moon on Sunday. So this is more exciting energy because we're stuck in this axis of so many planets in Aquarius in the early stages. So this energy is harder for Aquarius and Leo because you're the opposite. And I would say it's been harder for Gemini and more mental energies like Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, the fellow air signs. And also maybe a little of the Aries and Sagittarius, the fellow fire signs. So who else would be feeling this too? Taurus and Scorpio. Because we're on this fixed axis right now of so much in Aquarius, that means the Sun, Mercury, Mars, Pluto, Venus, all of it is opposing Leo. So if you're a Leo, you've been feeling this too, Aquarius especially. But if you know an Aquarius or you know a Leo and you've been having a hard time communicating, this is normal. I've been seeing this. And what I want to say about that is, and it's probably a little bit of everyone in the collective, especially we just had that Mars and Pluto come together. Mars is no longer on Pluto, but there was some aggression there. There was some anger there. And it's more like pride. So I've been seeing a ton of pride in the collective and the ego because those signs are fixed and they're stubborn. And so they're coming from opposite directions and they're both trying to communicate something. And it's just a lot of misunderstanding. So we'll be seeing this more moving into this full moon in Leo on Sunday. It's like it's going to come to a head. So if you've been having difficulty with someone in particular this week, finding a place to meet in the middle with communication, I would say try to handle that before the full moon, or it will probably happen on its own on the full moon. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, the full moon energy always lasts at least 3 days. But if you are sensitive to energy, it starts about a week ahead and it can last a week after. So that is so fun and so much pride. And what I want to say is I'm hoping that we had that Mars Pluto and it was like, really, these are my desires and this is what I want to say and these are the challenges and this is how I feel, right? Neptune moved into Aries and Aries is the self and it's more about self-love and what's going to make me feel better and what are my desires? How am I coming across? How do I want to come across? And I feel like it didn't go so well. And even if we didn't say it to someone, we were still feeling it. We're still getting amped up, within ourselves. So that, like, when I do see them, I'm going to say this, and that's where it gets really dangerous. And so I'm hoping we didn't do too much damage earlier in this week and that we really just use that ambition and drive for something positive. But now, yesterday and today, once Mercury hit Venus, it was like all this stuff I've been feeling or all the stuff I've been pushing for now is in my mind, Mercury, and I'm thinking about love, or I'm thinking about money and how I want more for myself. And that's where those conversations came into play. Maybe you gave someone some vulnerability. And that's what we really should be using this energy for. Not fighting, not bumping heads, not an ego battle of who's right and who's wrong, because most of the time we're both wrong, right? So most of the time you're fighting on this end, they're fighting on this end, and you're both right in how you feel. You're just not understanding each other. So this is where Aquarius energy is like, I'm done. I'm super cold, super detached. Aquarius has no problem detaching, and Leo can't stand that. The opposite energy can't stand that. And this is this full moon because we want to be felt and loved and heard and understood. And when someone cuts you off, it's just like, whatever, don't worry about it. This is done. And they don't try to find understanding. That is hurtful to Leo. Okay. And I'm not just saying your sign, oh, I'm not a Leo, so I don't have to. This goes for everybody because this is the full moon. Okay, so we're dealing with the sun in Aquarius and the full moon coming to a head in Leo. So they're right in a line. They're right across from each other. And this is this tug of war of this energy of Leo, who normally takes the lead and who feels with their heart and wants to love deeply, and puts on a show and gets very dramatic and sometimes is nasty and sometimes has an ego and a stubborn problem too, as well as Aquarius is stubborn. But Aquarius is like, tries to at least kind of think of, well, what's best for everybody, but they're still very stubborn and they clash. So even if you're not in Aquarius, you're feeling all of this because almost every planet is in Aquarius right now, aside from Uranus and Jupiter. And then we have Jupiter off in the distance in Cancer in retrograde, still trying to figure out, well, what feels best for me and where am I comfortable? What feels good in my home life? Okay. So on top of all of that, this Mercury Venus is trying to come through and we're trying to have meaningful conversations. We're trying to stay vulnerable. Please try to stay vulnerable because that's stubborn fighting. Well, F you, all of that is not going to help anyone. So hopefully that Venus came in nice and easy, whether it's work or relationships. And hopefully you used whatever Aquarius cool ideas you've gotten with that Mercury to either communicate, send a message, start a new website, things of that sort. So that's perfect. Let's keep that. Today, on Thursday, the moon has been in Gemini. We're moving towards that full moon in Leo by Sunday. But this morning, the moon was still in Gemini, which means we have a tendency to overthink things. Okay, and then as we come back around by tonight or probably in a few hours here, by this evening, the moon will be in Cancer. So we go from all this Mercury Aquarian energy with the moon in Gemini, very mental, very overthinking, or at least mentally stimulated into how do I think, right? How am I thinking? How am I speaking and communicating or teaching even is Gemini, or studying even. Very mental energy into now the moon jumps into Cancer and now it's more about how do I feel? So whatever you've done with this energy this week, we're moving into this Cancer moon. How do I feel? Because this is what's going to push and amplify this energy into how it comes out and how it's portrayed on the full moon in Leo on Sunday. And Leo can be dramatic. you know? So we got to be careful, because if we've built up too much pressure and too much, I deserve this, or I'm not being heard, and it comes out wrong, things might not go so well on the full moon. So I want you to keep that in mind. Keep in mind too, this balance of this Aquarius Leo energy and who's right and who's wrong and all. It's not about that. It's about, okay, we're both stubborn, or I'm having a problem at work, or whatever it is for you. There's an obstacle, and how are we trying to overcome it? We can't force or push. You definitely cannot force another person, right, to change or to see your way. So we have to come in soft now, gentle, vulnerable, and not everyone likes that. So we need to really swallow our pride. Leo and all fire signs, Aries, Sagittarius, are known for being prideful and known for just shutting up. When they feel disrespected, they will just quiet down because they have too much pride, and they don't beg, and they're not going to say, this is how I really feel. And that's what I'm seeing in the collective. It's too much pride. People, like I almost said unafraid. They are afraid to speak up. They are afraid to show how they really feel, because where does this pride come from? And where is this anger coming from? Right? When we're fighting, or we're having an issue, or we're having an issue at work, we're not getting our needs met. So anger always stems from fear or hurt. It's not anger. You're feeling misunderstood, so you're hurt, or you're afraid. You're afraid to lose something. You're afraid you won't have enough, or your needs won't be met. So let's really take a deeper look before we hit this full moon. Please go to my website, even just to play around and look at it, and then give me your feedback. Or you could book a reading. So that's cool. Or you could donate. And I'm liking this camera thing. Tell me what you guys think. Share these videos, like these videos, comment on these videos. What have you been feeling this week? What's coming up for you? Have you seen this energy coming up for you? Can you see it in people around you? You know, if it's not something you're feeling. And good luck with this full moon. I'm sure we will speak again. Until next time, bye.